So we're just coming to the 19th move of the whole 35 moves. We're stuck basically like the moves from the 8 brocades and an 18 form Qigong sequence with another 9 form, which I've done separately on other videos. Stuck them all together, one after the other, back to back, in a 35, which adds up to 35 sequence form. But it doesn't really matter, you can do these individually as I'm doing them individually, each move from the Qigong sequences individually or in order. I put in brackets number 90, this is number 19 of the whole 35. So I put 35 in brackets and then 19 next to it. But basically, we're taking the movements from Qigong or Qigong, whatever you want to call it, whatever, Chinese, Japanese, whatever. But basically, it's more about the movement. I'm not going traditionally into the actual sequences and the actual meridians, etc., like you do in the traditional form with the traditional breathing. Obviously, depending on what form you're doing, because there's like 40,000 at least. So they reckon different forms of Qigong. But we're taking the move. This one's called Scooping the Seas, the 11th of the 18 form Qigong sequence added onto the 8 brocades movements. But we're doing it in a basically hypnotic, which I put hypno, yoga, Pilates, Qigong sequence. Okay, so basically I've mixed the breathing, okay, and put a mixture of all of them with the movement. Okay, so the hypnotic breath with the Pilates setup, gathering in, zipping up, scooping out your abdominals, which we're going to go through now. So I don't want to go into too much detail. Again, it doesn't really matter all that. We're just going to do the movement, do the breathing, feel better, great. But I'm not going to go too much traditionally into all the meridians and organs, etc. This affects. I've done that on other videos anyway. So anyway, so let's start with the breathing. If it's just the breathing part you get, that's fine on this one. We're going to start doing it the Pilates way. So just stand naturally, okay, and zip up pelvic floor, scoop out your abdominals, take your navels towards the spine. Now, you can't do one of these muscles without the other. Pelvic floor is basically if we get the thumbs from the hips round, that's the pelvic floor downwards from there. The only way to explain it is if you're a long journey, you want to go to the toilet and you stop yourself going, that's your pelvic floor, okay? That is linked to our corset muscle, 3 layers deep, which is pretty much what Pilates is based on. And it links on round this B-line, bikini line, belt line, whatever you want to call that. And if you do from hip to hip like this and cough, you'll feel both their muscles go together. The corset muscle, the transverse abdominis, 3 layers deep, which is like a corset wrapping around our spine, which is segmentally stabilising our spine, and the pelvic floor, they link together. Okay, so zip up pelvic floor, scoop out your abdominals. Like I say, you can't do one without the other. And then just get the 2 middle fingers touching underneath what we call the xiphoid process, the sternum, palms on the lower lobes of the lungs touching. Shoulders down, and that'll help you see where the breath's going. The breath can go nowhere but these lower lobes of lungs as you right now zip up pelvic floor, scoop out your abdominals, 2 middle fingers touching underneath the breastbones. You'll see this motion happening, middle fingers slightly parting and coming back to touch each other, just adding width to the lungs and length to the out breath as you zip up pelvic floor, scoop out your abdominals right now, and breathe in through the nose and exhale through pursed lips. Okay, as if you're sort of blowing out a candle through pursed lips. That's the Pilates breathing we're doing there. And just do that for now. And you'll feel that breath coming low and deep to these lower lobes of lungs. You can take the hands away and be safe in the knowledge that's happening, because there's nowhere else the breath to go apart from into them lower lobes of lungs. As you zip up pelvic floor and scoop out your abdominals right now and keep breathing in through the nose and exhaling through pursed lips. Safe in the knowledge, you're breathing into these lower lobes of lungs, your intercostals, the ribs, anywhere but the stomach, because there's nowhere else the breath to go apart from into these lower lobes of lungs. Okay, keep breathing in as you zip up pelvic floor and scoop out your abdominals into these lower lobes of lungs, these fish gills, 3D style, organ deep, cell deep, even bone marrow deep, into these lower lobes of lungs, the intercostals, the ribs, anywhere but the stomach, as though someone is opening an umbrella inside your rib cage and letting go, or someone's just pushing out from inside your ribs and letting go. That lovely, free, expansive breath. Lovely job. And that's going to help you use the pelvic floor and our corset muscle, our transverse abdominis. 3 layers deep, which is all segmentally stabilised in the spine in the most efficient manner, helping us breathe anywhere but the belly button. It's what we call lateral thoracic breathing in Pilates. But with that, we're going to breathe in through the nose and exhale through pursed lips, but extend the out breath longer than the in breath. Okay, a bit like 7-11 breathing from hypnotherapy. We're not going to count the breath. We're just going to make the out breath longer than the in breath. Quadruple it, double it, triple it within your limits, longer than the in breath. Because the in breath is conscious thought, the out breath is subconscious thought. So by extending that out breath longer than the in breath, we're encouraging sleep, digestion, rest, and relaxation, all on that lovely elongated out breath. Lovely. And then with that, we slip into the yogic area where we close the mouth, carry on with the same breathing, zipping up pelvic floor, scooping out your abdominals, but breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, but still elongating the out breath longer than the in breath. And allow that simplicity just to relax the mind. The in breath's conscious thought, the out breath is subconscious thought. So by extending the out breath longer than the in breath and adding that on, that's going to help us stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system even, which helps us with sleep, digestion, rest, and relaxation, all on that lovely elongated out breath. Lovely. Now again, optional this is. You can make it a little bit more advanced. If you can't get this, don't worry. Just carry on doing what you're doing. Okay, we're going to go for the Ujjayi breath, victorious breath in Sanskrit. Okay, and all you do is grip at the esophagus and make a soft, silky, whistling, sighing breath from the back of your throat. Okay, so we grip at the esophagus and it sort of makes like a Darth Vader sound. So I do it with my mouth open. It's like a... that sort of raspy, silky breath will even lengthen the whole of the wheel cycle even longer, but we still lengthen the out breath longer than the in breath. You will naturally feel that want to happen anyway, so allow that to happen. But we're just gripping the esophagus, narrowing the esophagus, and making this soft, sweet, sighing, whistling Ujjayi breath, victorious breath from the back of the throat, breathing through the nose. And exhaling. And again, if you can't get that, don't worry. If you can, that's going to build the heat even more in the body and fan the fire even more to burn all the toxins in the body. Okay, and help us stimulate the thyroid gland, which helps with weight control, etc. Help us build the heat in the body and help us fan the fire to burn all the toxins in the body on a more even economical level, and gives the mind something to focus on. Focusing breath, like you're sort of threading a needle. That sometimes you do it naturally, but we're overemphasizing that sighing, whistling, silky breath, that focusing breath, Ujjayi breath. That'll give the mind something even more to focus on, help you focus on within the breath. Ujjayi breath, or without Ujjayi breath, we're still zipping up pelvic floor, scooping out your abdominals, and elongating the out breath longer than the in breath. Breathing in through the nose and exhaling for as long as you like. The shoulders are down, okay? So we're pretty much still breathing in. It's not quite Ujjayi breath, but pretty much mostly Ujjayi breath there. Again, they tend to breathe a little bit more up into the shoulders, but we're keeping the shoulders down and elongating the out breath. That helps us lengthen the whole wheel cycle longer, which also will help us melt into these postures even easier. That's what helps you melt into them postures, them asanas even easier. Lengthening the breath and focusing on the breath. So again, obviously we spent nearly 10 minutes on the breathing, but again, the movement you can pick up anywhere. Okay, but again, we're going to do the movement for 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, again, scooping the C. Okay, again, within the traditional form, as with any opening out the chest exercise, it will benefit the meridians or the organs, basically the heart, the lungs, the pericardium, the heart lining. Most bending exercises tend to believe to help the kidneys. Okay, so they're the 4 organs or meridians, electromagnetic rivers, they benefit traditionally. But again, forget all that. We're going to kick that breathing in. Nice big gross motor move. Scooping the C. So again, 1 foot forward. Again, you're going to breathe in and exhale for as long as you like as you push away the wall, Samson style, for that stretch in little pinkies. And again, you're going to partially empty and feel this lead leg, dorsiflex this leg. Be nice and long as if wild horses upon your part. Pushing away the wall, Samson style. Only going as deep towards this leg as you like. Breathing for the nose. And exhaling for as long as you like. Nothing set with emotion, this one, so it might sound like this. And then just simply start again when you're ready. Nothing set in motion. You'll do both legs. You're breathing through the nose. And exhaling. And starting again. So with my foot, as I'm doing this, it's dorsiflexing and coming back, giving me that sciatic floss. As you work the hamstrings, the glutes, the buttocks, elongating the out breath as long as you like. I haven't spent too much on the movement. You can see that more in the other videos. But scooping the C, really nice one. Sometimes it's called in some forms scooping the sea and viewing the sky. You know, they vary little bits in different forms. But then again, don't worry about that, I digress. But again, the main thing is elongating the out breath longer than the in breath. Push away the wall, Samson style, be nice and wide. Only rolling as deep. You can be up high or go down as deep as you like to relax and let go. That lower abdomen will be squeezed like a pump or a bellows with the breath, the motion, the movement. Just get lost in the breath, the motion, the movement. Like that yawn in the morning when you open out that chest and roll in only as deep towards that lead leg. As you work the glutes, the buttocks, the plantar region of the foot. Again, get that sciatic floss there. And again, there's not much that one isn't stretching. We're covered in muscle fascia from head to toe. That's getting pretty much all of it. Lovely, that was scooping the C, number 19 of the 18 form Qigong sequence. And, number 19 of the whole 35 sequence. And number 11 of that 18 form Qigong sequence added onto the 8 brocades. Don't worry about that. Do these individually or in the order I've done them. Lovely. Bang.